Right. So have you ever thought how weird this whole thing is with buying leads in HVAC, plumbing, or solar? So basically, what normally happens with this is that you get the access to the phone number or an email of somebody who already is getting bombarded by a dozen of other contractors. And what problem this creates is that there is a very limited amount of leverage points that you potentially you have in this situation. So you can't really drastically separate yourself from the competition. And what happens is that you're normally forced to compete on price, right? And you can understand this from both sides, right? So from one side, from the prospect side, they see all of those different contractors that want to help them, and now they are able to decide who is the cheapest because every single one says that they can actually do the job, and they can and they provide they provide them with the reviews that actually did this before, right? And from the contractor side, you can see that you can't really separate yourself drastically because you have other people that pretty much are trying to do the same, and then that's the whole mess, right? Now let's discuss how this normally happens. Like, what are the core three ways how you can potentially get those shitty leads? So first way is the most classic one, is when you buy a list from somebody, and you get in touch with those people, right? And normally you don't really know how to go this list initially. Obviously, there are a million ways how they can potentially get a hold of it. So from the most obvious ones, that they just basically downloaded this from a shared database to let's say like a private company just leaking the entire like or a part of their CRM, and then they get in the access to it and then sell it to you. In all cases, usually the leads are being sold to multiple companies as well, right? Which is obviously like which is very obvious, and for the guy who sells it, it's also very reasonable to do so, right? This is point number one. 99.999% of times this will be shared leads, right? Situation number two, when you can get those shared leads, is by using aggregator websites or aggregator services. Basically, something like Yelp, Check a Trade, House, Yellow Pages, anything to do with this. These guys normally they actually have the platform that they encourage people to visit and fill out their details. So this way they can find the best expert to help with their issue, right? So this model, by definition, already promotes people to leave the details for them. This basically they aggregate the actual clients, right? The client contacts, and then what they do, like different aggregators have different terms, but normally it's from 3 to 7 contractors that they reach out that they reach out to quote this to this client, and then obviously it happens the same thing as you when you buy the lead, when you buy the list, right? With the situation when you buy the list, you have the risk for having like dozens of contractors reaching out to them, and with aggregators you have like a limited amount. But at the same time, you still are pretty much at a very high risk of competing on price or just dealing with shitty leads in the first place. Now, the third way how this can happen is that when a company, let's say, or an individual generates leads on their side, right, and then sells them to you. But on their by saying on their side, I mean that they're using their accounts, for example, to run ads. Then they aggregate their leads that they just generated, and then they sell to you or basically to the companies. So the problem with this is that, like, obviously, in some instances, you can have a clear communication and clear cooperation with them, and where they actually they actually sell only to you, or at least they sell a specific amount of leads only to you. So this way, they are exclusive. But oftentimes, how this happens is that it's profitable for those types of businesses to just sell to multiple companies as well, right? But basically, in this case, they just sell they just frame this as, we have leads that are pre-qualified because they shared us those amounts of details. So if you like those details and you actually can service them, let us know and we will send them to you. And then obviously what happens is that multiple companies let them know, they send them details, and then they quote, and that's basically the same structure with the as the aggregator websites do, right? So for those reasons, we don't sell leads because we don't want our clients to deal with only one good leads out of 50, 100 that actually wants to do the service based on quality and not based on price, right? And how we do this is essentially we create we build systems for our clients to generate exclusive and high quality leads for them in house, right? So this what this basically allows them to do is that this allows them, first of all, to separate themselves from the competition, because this way, when you generate in house, right, you are, by definition, you are not, at least on the basic level, you're not competing with other contractors at the start, right? At least at this stage, right? Because somebody actually decided to reach out to you, and this was on a separate system, right? And what this also allows you to do is, it's because of the fact that you were able to separate yourself, you are now able to avoid competing on price, and you are able to start competing on quality, which basically allows you to charge more for your services, right? Now, obviously, in it's that there is a valid argument to be made, is that, like, okay, so but oftentimes happens that, for example, especially in the residential sector, when um, um, homeowners reach out to multiple companies to get the quote, and obviously we all understand that this happens and people actually do that, even on fucking home and building magazine or what blog, where 500,000 of people use this every single month. They clearly say that, okay, so for homeowners, we recommend getting multiple quotes from different reputable contractors, right? So this happens all the time. Now, how do we make sure that we still are able to separate ourselves from the competition, and are able to compete on quality and sell on quality, so this way the clients gets more per lead and also closes more, is, first of all, by positioning on the front end. So on the front end, what we do is we separate our clients with the messaging that resonates the best for the ideal client profile that they target, right? And obviously not only the messaging but also the offer as well. And then on the back end, what we do is that we have the proper system for communication at every single stage of the sales process, meaning that proper follow-up and also quick follow-up system, right? Which basically means that we are able to just be, first of all, faster and more efficient than the competition, which obviously creates this combo where basically on the front end, somebody reached out to that because they resonated with the messaging and positioning, right? That they actually wanted to get in touch with the business and see if they can help. And on the back end, they get a fast response, so this way people are amazed, and also at the same time they get a very efficient, very efficient process of communicating and actually answering the concerns, the questions, and so on and so forth. And this basically, and this way they're progressing faster. And what picture we create for our clients is that essentially their ideal client sees them as somebody completely different from the competition, right? So there is no business that actually does something with this precision to what they actually want, and at the same time with this speed and efficiency, even before they actually started like installing something or doing something. It's just basically from the communication standpoint, right? So this basically creates a huge gap between the competition and our clients, what we do for our clients, right? So this is pretty much it, and this is why we don't sell leads. Now, if you want to do something like this, and if you want to generate your exclusive and high quality leads with your own in-house systems built for you specifically that you can keep after this, so 100% independence and 100% systems are kept with you, right? So we are only just basically helping you set up and manage them. Let me know. In the description of this post, you can click on the link to book the call. Book the call. This can be the best decision you can possibly make for your growth in business. Cheers.